Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is it.
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hot Body Dawson. Bow, bow, bow.
I am Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
Well, come along. It's the Sunday evening episode, and you get it if you're an IFS subscriber. On did I say Monday morning? I did. I said Sunday evening, didn't I? It's not Sunday evening.
Sunday evening.
It's Sunday evening if you're IFS.
Yeah.
Put this right up.
Oh well. People get the idea, and it's a good reminder to those freeloaders out there that could get this on Sunday night. Much more convenient. Even if you don't listen to it on Sunday night, it means it's ready for your Monday morning commute or whatever it is you like to do on a Monday morning. Maybe you go out for a coffee. Huh? What?
Freeloaders is a harsh
kind
of description of them, but it's accurate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very accurate.
We don't mind. If we had that much objection, we wouldn't put them out for free. It's our choice to put them out for free.
Oh, imagine that!
What not?
That would be a test of the loyalty of the listeners, wouldn't it? We're going to put out the first 7 minutes. You've got to pay for the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you clicking something?
Yeah, I am. Do you want to see what? Because it's a great.
Please.
Usually you can't see what I'm clicking, but while I've been away, my daughter's obviously been using the Vita Modular as a revision compound, and she's got one of those pens in here, which for clicking, it's the next level.
Oh, it's a clicker's dream.
It's a clicker's dream because look, every color of the rainbow.
God.
So many different clicks. And,
click. Yeah.
Nice imagery on there as well. Unicorns, rainbows, the lot. But I'll put it over there. I'll put it in my pot and then keep it out of harm's way.
This is one of those occasional episodes that we do where it's also on YouTube for you to watch our faces, watch our movements and gestures.
Yeah.
My
you get to see that. And I've also
face.
brought something else along to show and tell, but you can activate that when you see fit, Andy. But just be aware that because this is one of our video episodes, I have other visual props.
Right, good. Before we go any further, can I just plug something?
Yeah.
I'd like to plug a new podcast that I have launched with my son.
Yeah.
And it's about darts. Because we both love the darts very much. It's called Unserious Darts.
Yeah.
And first episode went out about an hour ago on Sunday evening. So all of your usual outlets and platforms, I think they call them.
Yeah.
For podcasts. You can get
wherever you get your podcasts. Get it wherever you go get your podcasts.
Where the fuck you get them?
I couldn't give a fuck.
It's called Unserious Darts. Episode 1's out there now, and we enjoyed doing it. I think it's going to be a nice bit of fun about darts.
I saw it advertised on the X platform, brackets formerly Twitter, and I thought, it's the sort of thing I like. I'm a big podcast fan. I love darts. I love the Dawsons.
Great to see a new podcast come along.
Yeah, it's great to see it. I've got a gap in my pod schedule, my pod listening schedule, which is usually rammed. But something's come up recently due to the death of one of my favorite podcasters, and therefore I'm.
He actually died during an episode, which was
died
quite sad.
Died of podding. And on the one hand, I was sad for him and his family, but on the other hand, I thought, hey, rare opportunity in the Delaney pod schedule.
Here's an opportunity to freshen up the schedule.
Yeah,
and I took that opportunity, and I'm
always looking out for fresh new content, and this sounds just that. So I'll be listening for sure. How long is the episode 1, mate?
Episode 1's about 24 minutes. We're not going to be dragging the arse out of it. It's going to be we're going to be in and out. The first episode we mainly look at an interview with Luke Littler, which was in the Times this weekend.
Yeah, I saw
Martin Samuel.
I didn't read the whole thing, but I saw a bit of it, and Martin Samuels, is a man of interest to me. So and so I thought this could be good.
He's a man whose motivations sometimes be questionable, I think.
Yeah,
and he did a big thing recently about Dan Ashworth getting poached from Newcastle to Manchester United, and he was outraged that Manchester United shouldn't be paying like less than £60 million for this man for everything that he's done.
With a fucking spreadsheet.
There's a guy with a spreadsheet and it's a contact book. Yeah.
Mate, this is what you said the other day when you said, I can't remember how you phrased it, but the fact that the game has been basically hijacked or taken over by fucking accountants and data analysts. That's what that bloke is. And now the transfer fees are going for these nerds.
But this is the guy who's brought in all these players to Newcastle, but they're having to start selling all their players because they've breached what's it called again? FFP?
Yeah,
FFP. FFP regulations. They've gorged on too many players. Apparently now they have to start selling them, they reckon, in the summer. Well, that's on that guy's watch. I know he's getting poached to go and do the same at Basket Case Club Manchester United. Fair enough.
Spot players. How absurd is that?
I think they just play football. What they do is they get Football Manager and they do the thing where you just resign from your job straight away and they let it play for 20 years.
Right.
And it just plays by itself like an artificial intelligence experiment. And they just see who are the good players 8 years from now when they try and buy them all.
Yeah. West Ham have spent huge sums on recruitment because, like, a few years ago, it came out that we only had one scout in the whole club, Premier League club, right? So there was a lot of outrage by that. This club is run like a fucking circus, right? So in the end, now we've gone the other extreme, and like we've got this really expensive German guy, and then we've got like Mark Noble's sporting director. It's unclear what he does. He's like a base character. He's like really well paid vibes man, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't. Club legend, etc., etc. Great player. Yeah. Don't know what his qualifications are to be a sporting director.
No, I mean, I love it as a fan. I love it that he's there because I think, you know, over the years, and lots of clubs are guilty of this. I think it does make a lot of sense to keep legends at a club because if not, I mean, what are these fucking clubs? Do you know what I mean? Like Bobby Moore,
it's good for
the shit that West Ham. It makes me annoyed. Like West Ham statue of Bobby Moore, posters and fucking tributes to Bobby Moore all over the stadium. When Bobby Moore was alive, there was fuck all Bobby Moore stuff, right? Yeah. He never got a fucking go to work at the club. He wanted to be the manager. He never got that gig, but they could have given him anything. You know, Bobby Charlton at Manchester United was always like, you know, naughty, squirty.
When he wasn't heading off to Africa to do his soccer schools and some inadvertent blindings.
I'm gonna go and do some blindings, and some of them will be inadvertent, but some of them will be very much vertent.
The thing is, when you're distributing acids and alkalis, it can be a little bit scattergun, and it goes everywhere. And sometimes people are going to get blinded. Sometimes people are going to get blinded what didn't want blinded. There you go.
You got to write that off as collateral damage. So West Ham didn't do fuck all for Bobby Moore, you know, or like all these other players that they'll go on and on about now. So I quite like it. But the only contribution I've seen him made, which was a sensational one, was after West Ham won the semi-final of the Conference League, and he just suddenly burst into the changing room with a crate of cans.
That's his job.
He's our sporting director, right? And they're all dancing because we got to the final. And suddenly it was a proper all right cunts because he's kicked the door in. And there's video of this, right? And they turn around and it's the sporting director and his tie's all loosened. And he's just in the doorway with a fucking massive crate of Heinekens. And then he just puts them on the treatment table and starts fucking pissing them up and spraying them everywhere. It was wonderful. So it's worth every penny. But we've got all these other people. Yeah. We've got a director of football, a sporting director, a head of scouting, head of recruitment. The director of football just hired his own brother, right? He's a German guy called Tim Stuyten. And he just hired his own brother and gave his brother like a huge title, right? Something like Johnny Stuyten. Yeah. But then on top of that, he also hired another guy from one of the clubs he worked at, like Werder Bremen, who's the head of data, right? We've literally hired a head of data. And when you see the photo of this cunt, right, he looks like if you were casting a kids' TV show, you know, the kids' TV show, there's like a gang, and one of them's called something like Chip, right? Because he's the expert with microchips.
Computer nerd.
Yeah. That's what this guy looks like. He looks about fucking 13. He's got curly hair and round glasses, and he's really skinny with a little tie, right? They go, this is our new head of... So we've got all of these. They're all on huge salaries because we poached them from other clubs, right? And in the transfer window, we sold 4 players, right?
Yeah.
We already had the smallest squad in the Premier League. We sold 4 players, and we got 1 player in on loan, Calvin Phillips, who's been absolute shit in every game for us,
got
right?
Sent off. Yeah.
And you think that's like normal West Ham, you know, I'm sure it's sense on them. We fuck up like most transfer windows, blah, blah, blah. But it's sort of like we've got like a huge department of people on large 6-figure salaries whose only job it is to identify and then buy players. And all we did was sell 4 and get 1 loan in. And it's not like you don't need Calvin Phillips was not someone who you need a team of fucking egg-headed Germans and a data analyst to fucking identify. It has come to my attention, having crunched the numbers, that there is a player at Manchester City called Calvin Phillips, who I think has great potential in the Premier League. But Calvin Phillips, who's really famous,
is his name Calvin Phillips?
Calvin Phillips, yeah. What did you think?
His name? I don't know. It didn't sound right. He's been out of the game for so long.
Yeah. Oh. But anyway,
that's why I'm not a data analyst.
It's just mad, isn't it? Like, why have they?
Well, but it's just that's how it is now. The game's been captured by these chancers and bluffers who just draw huge salaries at clubs.
I actually hate data generally.
Yeah,
like, I'm a data hater. In fact, write that down. That's a t-shirt idea. I'm a data hater because it's impact everywhere. In everything, right? Everything that like we enjoy, right? That we talk about on this podcast, or we podcast, or we show interest in, or that has delivered us any joy or enjoyment in our ridiculous and miserable lives. Any glimpses
they are,
of you or I have had, right? They will not exist for our children because data governs everything now, right? Do you think animal quackers? Right, in the world of data, Netflix only commission things on the basis of data. It's an algorithm creates
and
these things.
They'll commission things and cancel things based on data.
On data.
Never mind the fact that these programs or films or whatever have got some kind of like genuine love among the community that enjoy them. Fuck that. The data says no.
Yeah.
Computer says no.
Exactly.
As David Williams
the thing is
presciently
that,
said.
The whole idea of creativity or art, whatever you want to fucking call it, is that it's conjured from fucking nowhere, and it's not rational. Things that are amazing are not fucking rational. Do you know what I mean?
Have you seen this?
They've come from the soul of some and the mind of some sort of like of us, usually a brilliantly strange person. And this is the opposite of that. Like the Beatles, right? To use the extreme example, no one's gonna fucking make Rubber Soul, right, on the basis of a fucking data analysis. And Stan Bowles just died. Stan Bowles in a world of data.
He was a data hater. Yeah.
He was never going to get a fucking job in top flight football, was he? In the age of data. And one last one as well. Emu. I just watched that clip that we were talking about the other day of Emu going to the dentist, right? Amazing. Do you think Emu would have ever got the traction he did, right? Do you think Rod Hull would have had the career he had in this era, the era of data? No, sorry, crunch the numbers, and the young people are mainly on TikTokers, and we can't see any examples of them showing interest in emus.
But I think Emu would have broken through on TikTok and would have been huge.
Maybe.
There would have been questions asked about Rod Hull, obviously, with him being already a middle-aged man on TikTok.
Yeah, and they'd have got someone off fucking Love Island to do it instead. It would have been shit.
Perfect example, right, of what you're talking about, the data dictating everything. That film, Coyote versus Acme, a Wile E. Coyote film.
Oh, yeah.
It was due to come out last year. And it was fucking binned by Warner Brothers.
Right.
It cost $70 million to make it, right? By all accounts, people who've seen it and worked on it said it's a fucking great film.
Well, of course,
really good updating of the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner franchise, I think they call it. And Warner Brothers Discovery shelved the film in November 2023 so it could obtain a $30 million tax write-down.
Cunts.
And now this film's never going to get seen. Other people have tried to buy it. Netflix among them. I think Amazon Prime as well.
Yeah.
Thought this needs to be seen.
Yeah.
Let's get it out there. And they've tried to buy it. And the price that Warner's was setting for it, obviously for tax reasons, was so high they couldn't afford it. They couldn't reach it. And yeah, they've once again shelved it in February 2024 after these negotiations. They're claiming it as a tax loss, and the film's fate is currently unclear. I want to see that film more than anything. There's nothing I love more than watching fucking Roadrunner cartoons.
Can't we somehow play a role in like bringing this to audiences?
I mean, I did think this. I thought that surely the nerds can get some kind of crowdfunder together. And buy it. Surely.
Don't forget, I owned at one point the rights to Funhouse, and actually, I believe I did get them. I bought them off of Warner Brothers. It was simpler than you might imagine. So
dare you tell me how much it cost?
Oh, it was like $5,000.
Wow,
it was $5,000 because
for listeners who don't know what Funhouse is.
Yeah. It was a game show with Pat Sharp, who was a 1980s and 90s DJ off of Capitol.
Yeah.
And
then he had two sidekicks, didn't he?
He had these two girls who were sidekicks.
Twins.
I think they were twins. Yeah. So there was a little bit of creepiness, but I never got a creepy vibe off of Pat Sharp. I never got a creepy vibe off of Pat Sharp. I mean, obviously on paper that sounds creepy, but he never gave me that vibe. I don't think he's ever got done either. I think he did.
I just got the vibe of naffness, as they call it.
Yeah. He had a hit with Pat and Mick Brown, was it?
Mick Brown, yeah.
And they did. Well, I think they did a few, but they did. Oh, what a night! They did a cover of that, and they used to present
That's something that bugged me because those two they were on Capital Radio, which was only in London. Yeah. And they managed to get a chart hit off the back of that, just of London sales. They must have been huge in London. Rest of us had no fucking idea who they were.
Yeah. Well,
we knew who Pat was.
10 million people in London, that's enough. 10 million. If everyone in London bought a copy of that single, which I think they did, everyone I knew did. I think that could get you to number one, no problem.
Yeah. We were just angry we didn't know who Mick Brown was. We knew about Pat Sharp.
Because
he various other activities.
He'd crossed into TV notoriety.
He'd gone national.
Yeah. It's September 1964.
When you bought those rights, did you get the contact details of the twins?
No, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it was one of my many a long list of wonderful business fails, which I might write up soon into some document or whatever. Or we could do a special podcast, which is Sam's business failures. Right?
Have those rights now lapsed?
I think they've lapsed, but it ended like a lot of my business failures. It ended in huge acrimony because it was basically I'd been duped, as I often was, which makes it sound like I'm washing my hands of responsibility. But I always think the responsibility lies not with the duper, but with the dupee. And I was the dupee. So I'm not trying to wash my hands of responsibility here. A young, enthusiastic would-be television producer came to me and said, Sam, I want to buy the rights to Funhouse. Can you help me? And I said, words to the effect of, I'm very busy. I haven't got time. I wouldn't know begin where to start. But if you saw it all out, fine, I'll back it. And then he came back to me a month or two later and said, I've fucking done it. Sign here. And we own Funhouse.
$5,000 later.
So I did. And I was $5,000 later. And then I fell out with the guy because after that, we couldn't make any progress. He was in negotiations with Pat-Man. Which is Pat Sharp's nickname. But it never got to him. I fell out with the guy, and now he runs a burger restaurant in Manchester, last I heard. And
is it called Funhouse?
But I've heard nothing about Funhouse ever since.
Well, you need to delve into that. Perhaps you still own the rights to it, and then if you do, we can incorporate it into Uncle Harrington Enterprises somewhere. And
I told you the one where I like
giggly on the proceeds.
I funded my company's. I mean, you came to my company towards the end of it, like,
yes.
And we had an LA office at one point, which was another.
What, that company I was involved in?
Yeah. No, the 60 billion, not that one.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, the one
the recent one.
No, not that. That wasn't. I mean, we were just sort of like, that was make believe. But no, this. I mean, to be fair, my company was a proper company that lasted for a few years.
It was.
and
I
it burned bright for
yeah.
a few years. It burnt very bright. But that was when I was at my most vulnerable, Andy, because it was burning so bright, and I was so overstretched that I was saying yes to.
You were Icarus.
Strange. I said yes to some pretty strange things. Pretty strange.
You were also, I believe, not sober at that time as well.
No, I was sober. Yeah, I was.
Sober.
I started the company within like sort of almost weeks of getting sober. But there's a trap in the early days.
Your addiction.
Yeah, I transferred my addiction. I said, I'm in
highfalutin ideas.
I called up my accountant. And I said, I'm looking to transfer my addiction into something just as destructive to my life, but more socially acceptable. Have you got any ideas? I'm going to have a lot of
extra cash that I'm not going to be spending on drinking drugs. I'd like to blow it all on the rights to Funhouse.
Also,
the 1980s children's TV game show.
I'm not going to be hungover at all going forward. So I'd like to plow all that extra energy into doing other stupid things.
Having said that, my brain is still not quite sorted yet. So
yeah, exactly. The good thing is, so for instance, I reckon 6 months worth of cocaine savings could buy me, for instance, and this is just I'm just spitballing here, the rights to, let's say, Funhouse. So how about we look into that, for example?
All makes sense. You put it like that,
yeah. The one with the LA office, which cost me a lot more than £5,000. Right?
Oh yeah.
I had an LA office for about 6 months at huge expense, and I never actually went out to it. So who knows if it was there or not, right? I never went to it. But when the guy who had, again, duped me into saying, Sam, I'm going to open your LA office, and I know this guy and that guy, and I know, what did he say at one point? He went, put it this way. You know who I'm talking to be the non-executive director in our LA office. And I said, who? And he said, the Reverend Jesse James.
Jesse who?
Not Jesse James. What's he called? Reverend
Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson. He said, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. I was like, this, you're fucking joking. He's like, whoa. I'm not Sam. I know it.
And I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
And if Jesse doesn't agree to it, I've got backed up Al Sharpton, the other one.
I was like, mate, this is a big fat yes. This is a big fat yes coming from Delaney. Do what you need to do. Reverend Jesse Jackson, of course, mate. No, but the thing is, he goes, I said, right, how much is an office going to cost? And he was like, I think I knew someone who was offering me one. I said, it's quite good and it's quite cheaper. But obviously, I don't know Los Angeles very well. I said, so I don't know if this is a good area or a bad area to work in. He went, nah, it's not great. He said, but there's this other one, and it's at one of the big old studio lots. It's on a lot, right? So I'm like, obviously, I'm thinking, oh, this sounds pretty big time. I like the idea of this, right? I've never been there. And I went, well, how much is that? And he goes, well, and he told me. And I was like, fucking hell, that's much more. And then, do you know what he told me? He said that the office is next door. The people in the offices next door were Wendy and Lisa out of the Revolution. And on that basis, I said, do it.
Yes,
and I signed the contract. I signed the contract.
I would have done the same.
I thought
I'd have done the same.
And that was true. I mean, I checked it out, and I did have a registered address at this office, and next door, it was only a small office. On this lot next door, it was like Wendy and Lisa Enterprises or something like that, right?
Fuck.
And I remember people going, you sure this is quite expensive? You don't really, you don't need somewhere on a Hollywood studio lot to run an operation like what you're trying to run like that. But Wendy and Lisa are next door, and I'm going to go out there the first chance I get.
Yeah.
And when I go out there, I'm going to knock ground for Wendy and Lisa. And if I get even 5 minutes in their company, I'll feel satisfied that it's all been money well spent. But unfortunately, the day before I was going to fly there, like a few months later, something disastrous, one of the first of a number of like huge disasters, befell the company.
Yeah.
Due to my kind of idiocy, like largely, and other people's theft. And
dupers.
Dupers, surrounded by dupers. And so I had to cancel the flight with no refund, because the company fell into such a state of crisis that I simply can't justify flying out to look at the LA operation, but really just to try and meet Wendy and Lisa.
Can we crowdfund a film where we both go to LA and visit that location and try to get an introduction to Wendy and Lisa? We could do that. We could crowdfund that. $8,000.
Talking of the revolution. We could get to LA for $1,000, no problem. And my sister's moved to LA now, so we can just kip on our sofa when we're there.
Oh, brilliant!
When
two sofas.
Talking of them, of Wendy and Lisa and the revolution, I said to my wife this morning, I was humming. She went, "What are you humming?" I said, "Prince." And she went, "That doesn't sound like Prince." I said, "Oh no, I've got a new system for humming When Doves Cry." Right, I've developed
a new system.
A new week away when I was because obviously I've been away for a week on my own in Guernsey.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's the prime opportunity to come up with a new humming system, isn't it? A week alone.
Absolutely. I've been doing a huge amount of humming. I mean, I told you the other day I was humming a lot of Bergerac, which almost got me into trouble. So I was humming When Doves Cry, but I've got a new system for humming it or sort of singing it. It goes like this, right? You might like it. It goes, hang on, how does When Doves Cry go? I've got too excited now. The beginning. No, listen. Before that bit, you know, it goes. It's the famous hook, isn't it? Dun, 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 dun. Wahoo! Dun, 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 dun. Wahoo! I had a wahoo into it, a bit like in that Blur song, because I think When Doves Cry is a great song, but it is quite sad, Andy. It's a sad song, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff about his mum and dad arguing all the time. It's horrible, isn't it? So I thought, how could you improve on it? What if he did a jollier remix? And I thought that would be good.
Cheered up by it.
Yeah. Wahoo! Wahoo! It sounds a little bit like Mario as well.
Yeah. That's good. I'm into it. Can I use that as well? Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Is it public domain?
No, I actually did think so, because my wife didn't seem impressed, and I muttered something like,
"Right,
I'll try it on Andy instead. He'll probably like it." She went, "What did you say?" "Nothing."
I got a bit much today.
Now, talking also of films, like Wile E. Coyote would be a great movie, and we hope that will one day see the light of day. But did you say that was Warner Brothers and who was the other company?
Warner Brothers
Discovery. Because I'm in the business of buying. Well, I want to pitch to you here live on a video hookup. One of the first intellectual property acquisitions of Uncle Harrington Enterprises, which is a new
I'm into this. Yes.
And I was thinking, I thought if we can acquire the IP, write a treatment, and then we could pitch it to Pixar. I see this as a Pixar production, but whatever. Right. The important thing is first we get the rights. I found this in charity shop in Guernsey just yesterday, and I think you're going to like the title.
Let's have it. The Tale of Johnny Townmouse.
Right.
By Beatrix Potter.
There's a picture of Johnny Townmouse. Now, I'm familiar. I think that I'm familiar with a lot of Beatrix Potter stories and characters. I used to actually find them fucking terrible. Am I the only person who found Beatrix Potter just terrifying? I don't know why.
Terrifying.
Yeah, because there was always like these weird animals dressed up, and then like there'd be like a human farmer trying to fucking murder them non-stop.
Well, that's what happens in nature. We've discussed this before. That's nature.
But I'd
never
heard.
Got clothes on doesn't mean they're not vulnerable to attacks from farmers.
I'd never heard of Johnny Townmouse before, so I saw this in a charity shop. I thought, I'm fucking having that.
Yeah.
I bought 2 books. I threw the bloke completely. It was a second-hand bookshop. And I bought one book, which was a what if novel about what if the Nazis had won, right? I like those stories. And the other one was Johnny Townmouse. And he kind of gave me a funny look. I said, yeah, that's right, mate. I got eclectic taste, didn't I? Bag them up.
What would become of Johnny Townmouse if the Nazis had won?
That's an interesting thing. Maybe that could be part of our treatment.
I don't know how easy it is to get the IP or the rights or whatever to Beatrix Potter stories.
Well, there was
even
a
if they're
Peter
not
Rabbit
popular ones.
film recently, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And in it courted controversy because something about there was a scene where Peter Rabbit, one of his mates, lobs a load of fucking poisonous berries in his mate's face, and his mate comes out in a rash. And there was a lot of complaints because nowadays, so like at schools, they're obsessed with allergies, aren't they? And there was a lot of
copycat playground activities.
People going, "Oi, yeah, you've made light of like allergies there," because there was a kid at our school, who said he was allergic to egg, and no one believed him because in those days, in the 80s, no one believed in allergies. They thought it was just made.
All you had was hay fever. That was the only allergy.
And so on the last day of school, when everyone threw flowers and egg and shit like that at each other, he got targeted by a lot of lads. Not me, because I like this kid, but other lads targeted him with eggs specifically because he'd said for years.
Was he hospitalised?
Yeah, it was bad, real bad. Anyway, this first thing on this book, look, Johnny Townmouse was born in a cupboard. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I've only actually read the first page, but I thought you'd like it, so I'll just read you the first page. Johnny Townhouse was born in a cupboard. Townmouse was born in a cupboard straight away.
In a townhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But wait. Timmy Willie was born in a garden. Timmy Willie was a little country mouse who went to town by mistake in a hamper. The gardener sent vegetables to town once a week by carrier. He packed them in a big hamper. The gardener left the hamper by the garden gate so that the carrier could pick it up when he passed. Seems a bit of a vague arrangement. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't get DPD doing that sort of thing. Timmy Willie crept in through a hole in the wickerwork, and after eating some peas, Timmy Willie fell fast asleep. And there's Timmy Willie asleep in a pea pod, silly cunt. So we can tell what happens next. Silly bastard ends up in town shitting himself because he's never seen black people.
Johnny Townmouse.
He's never seen any black people. He's like,
well, he wouldn't have done in the countryside, no.
He's seen blacks. He's seen Asians. He's seen Hasidic Jews walking back. He's
gone down Chinatown.
He's gone to Chinatown, but he's not enjoyed himself. He's shat himself. He can't make head nor tail.
He's up at the smell of duck.
There's a mixture of duck and urine wherever you go. There's hipster bars overcharging you for ironic food. The bloke's like, fuck this. I don't like it. I'm not racist, but I am very overwhelmed. I'm experiencing sensory overload.
Sensory overload, yeah, of course.
He's gone up the Trocadero, had to go on a VR machine. That's just fucking
the Trocadero. So much stimulus, noise, and fucking flashing lights. Jesus Christ. Gone on a dance machine. Fell off. Yeah. Maybe we'll deep dive it. I'll add it to the list. We've done Mr. Silly.
Talking of
because if you're an IFS subscriber and you're IFS Turbo, this week we'll see the final episode of Races Rocket. The side spin-off story that we've been doing. And it comes to an end this week. So good time to upgrade to Turbo. And you could just listen to all 21 episodes in one go.
All in one go. And they're quite short, actually.
All in one go.
Binge that in an evening.
Yeah.
And you'll enjoy it. It's some of the best stuff we've done. Did you see the guy got in touch with a spreadsheet? Talking of number crunches and data analysis, someone's done a whole spreadsheet of every idea we ever suggested. When you said, I'll add it to the list. You've been saying that, apparently, according to this geezer, since the podcast started in 2018. You've been going, we've had these funny ideas or whatever. Well, not funny's a reach, but ideas, let's say. And you go, right, I'll add them to the list. Well, this guy recently started re-listening to Top Flight Time Machine from episode 1, right? And as he's been going on, he's currently up to 2021. And as he's been going along, he's created a spreadsheet of every idea that we came up with, right? That we said we're going to do in the future. And he's laid them out on this spreadsheet and he's categorized them as well. So some are just simply t-shirt ideas, right?
Right.
And some are
this is so helpful.
Yeah, some are like, but so, I mean, I started reading it last night after he sent it, and I was I mean, I'm ashamed to say that I laughed out loud at a couple. And then my wife's like, what are you laughing at? And I had to explain to her, I'm laughing at some wonderful ideas that Andy and I came up with in the past. Some of them really are delicious. But some of them are funny. There's one just called The Badger with Andy Dawson. And it's like, and it's like, it's a game show idea where like you just release a badger into the studio to terrorize the audience. Right. But to what end, it's not clear. But then it develops like some of the ideas come back. They come back later in like later episodes. And
fucking hell, this is incredible.
The idea developed whereby it was a human celebrity dressed as a badger, and you released that into, again, it terrorized the audience, I think. But people against the clock had to guess who the celebrity was inside the badger costume. So I guess that's a bit like The Mask.
It's a bit like The Masked Singer.
The Mask came out.
Yeah.
So
what we'll do is we'll do some episodes where we go through that spreadsheet.
We deep dive our own ideas
with it. Yeah,
there are some good things in there. I can't remember. I think it came in on our contact at Top Flight Time Machine
I'll
address,
have a look.
I think. But it's worth a little browse, mate. There's some interesting things in there, and time flies as well, because I'm looking at some of these things and I'm thinking, oh, I remember when we came up with that idea. Because some of them you remember and a lot of them you don't. But some of them I remember. I go, I remember that. What was that? A few months ago? No, mate. 4 years ago.
Yeah. Fuck.
Makes you think.
I should also mention we've got an official librarian called Librarian Liv.
Oh yeah.
She sends us emails from time to time. We usually ignore them, but they're always pretty good. And she's just sent one the other day, and it says she found a dissertation, which seems very old, about attitudes towards football from fans and the communities of the main West Midlands clubs. In this survey they did, they asked people in Coventry why some people are football hooligans. One response was, it makes them feel big.
Yeah.
And also, what do they propose to do about this? This is what they were proposing to do about football hooligans back in probably the 70s, I reckon. 1, make them do a horrible job till they've paid for the damage.
Yeah.
2, have some horse muck at the end of the pitch and throw them in it.
I like that one, yeah.
3, they cannot cause trouble if they have their hands chopped off. There you go. Attitudes towards football hooligans back in the day. And I don't think much has changed.
Hey,
I agree with all of them.
In Guernsey for the last 2 days, my good wife came out, right? Just to
nice.
Me the last couple of days. So I had a week of work and then she came out. And she came out on Friday night, and I'd booked a dinner at what I was told was like the nicest restaurant around there, right? Which was on the and the reason it was nice, I don't think it was particularly fancy, but it was right on the seafront, and so it looked out, and I was really excited about this place. So she turned up. First of all, we find out that the Nazi hospital is shut out of season, right?
Yeah, we kind of expected it would be,
right? So that's the first thing. So then I go, it's okay, the German Occupation Museum is open, we'll go to that.
Right.
We wait for a bus, right, for about half an hour in the freezing cold. It doesn't come. So in the end, we think, well, let's just get a taxi. So we go to a taxi rank. We wait there for half an hour. Eventually one comes. It cost me 20 quid to get up to this fucking museum on the other side of the island, right? We get out. It looks quite good, but it looks small. I walk to the front door, and just as we get there, the geezer is like, he's standing there, this really old man that's about 100, and he just goes, you're too late. And I literally like that. I'm not joking. He just go, and he wouldn't look at me in the eye. I thought he was blind at first, because he was just looking down at his feet. He just went, you're too late. And I felt like going, for what? The fucking Nazis? I know, they fucked off. They fucking fucked off of 1945, didn't they? Fucking no thanks to any of you cunts either. You rolled the fucking red carpet out, as far as I understand it. Right? He went, you're too late. I went, for what? He goes, to come in. I said, what are you talking about? It's 10 to 1. He goes, we calls at 1 on Saturdays. I said, are you joking? Do I look like I'm joking? He was angry with me.
It's not London.
He went, read the sign. And sure enough, it says Saturdays opening hours, 10 till 1. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This is like the most famous.
It's not London.
That's 3 hours, mate. Why open at all? So I go, mate, I said, I'm not being funny. I just paid 20 quid to get here, right? It's taken me actually hours because I had to wait for bus. Anyway, look, you don't need to worry about that. 20 quid it's cost me. I said, it's 10 to 1 now. It's £6 entry. I tell you what I'll do. I'll just pay you the entry anyway. Just give us 10 minutes and we'll just look about 10 minutes. You must be mad. There's nothing you can do here in 10 minutes. And I said, I don't care. I said, I've just cut. You're asking me to turn around. Plus, it's in the middle of nowhere. You're not near a main road. You're on a country lane. So it's not like I can go out and find a bus or a taxi. I'm going to have to walk through fucking the countryside, right?
Yeah.
I've just seen the taxis driving away. There's no catching it now. So just let me in. He went, no. And I said, what do you mean no? I'm going to pay you. And I only have to be in 10 minutes. He goes, there is nothing that can be done. And then he goes like this. She's a big museum. She. Right? And he's still not looking at me in the eyes, looking at my fucking feet.
Oh, this is brilliant.
I went, what? And he went, she's a big museum. Too big for 10-minute once around. He went, you need 2 hours to get the bare minimum.
You dirty bastard.
Said, exactly. Yeah. You fucking pervert up from London. I seen you in a
You're coming here for a 10-minute cheap thrill? Fuck off.
Coming here to masturbate all over our occupancy memories. This is very serious to us Islanders, you know. He was looking at his feet. He went, you cannot come in. She's a big... And he did it again. He kept going, she's too big. Too big for 10 minutes. I said, I know that, but it's me who's missing out, not you. I tell you what I do.
And you'll be £6 up.
He goes, I tell you what I do. £12 is £6 each. Me and the missus. He goes, come back at 3. I'll see what I can do. I said, I can't come back at 3. I said, I can't come back at 3. I said, I'm on the other side of the island. What am I supposed to do for 2 hours? Like we're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Well, you sit and wait.
He goes, come tomorrow. And I said, I'm going home tomorrow. He goes, well, that's your hard luck. You're not coming in now. I'll tell you, I was hungry as well because it was lunchtime. It was 10 to 1. So I was
you get hungry, don't you?
I was fucking fuming and my wife had to really come down. I was like, I looked around. It started to rain. You couldn't make it up. It was in the script. It would sound too corny. It started to rain. I'm in my raincoat with a hood up and he won't even let me step in over the threshold. He's putting his hand out, not looking at me. No, you can't come in now. She's shut. She's shut. Keep saying she the whole time, like he's talking about a boat. That's your hard luck. You should have looked it up. And I said, but I did. It said 10 till 4. That's weekdays, not Saturdays. Weekdays 10 till 4. Saturdays 10 till 1.
You need to learn how to read, boy.
Yeah. Don't they teach you how to read in London? No. All they do is teach you how to disrespect other people's schedules. That's what they teach you at London school. You fucking... Who are you? Johnny Town Mouse?
The fucking minority community setting up fucking businesses of all kinds.
Yeah, go on. Fuck off, Johnny Town Mouse. I'm Timmy Willie, country mouse.
This is my revenge story.
I then had to walk in the rain down several country lanes until I finally found the airport.
Civilization.
Right? And I said, well, there's nothing else around here. We might as well go into the airport. There might be a bus from there going back to the town. There is a bus. So? It's 40 minutes away. And there's no taxi. Well, there's taxis coming like once in a blue moon. The queue's about 20 people. So I'm like, great. My wife's here for one day. I've been bigging up the island tour on the phone all week. And when she turns up, where I picked her up from the airport night 4, there we are back at the airport. We're going to spend the whole fucking day sat at the airport, right? Then I see a geezer from the hotel where I'm staying, right?
Right.
Andrew,
he works there or?
He works there.
Yeah.
Andrew. Really good bloke, Brummy. I've got to know him through the week. So I stayed in this hotel for a week, right? It's
Andrews are generally good blokes, yeah.
I was effectively the fucking major at this hotel. I knew all the stuff, everything. They were really nice, right? And this bloke's a really good bloke. Big, beefy bloke, probably like 60-ish, skinhead, Brummy, did the driving and other unspecified roles around the hotel, right? I've had to go. He was there to pick up another passenger. I had to throw myself at his mercy. He practically jumped out of his skin. He's seen me all week in the hotel. He's in that fucking arrivals lounge on the other side of the island. And I've suddenly come out of nowhere looking like a drowned rat. And I've tapped to him and, excuse me, Andrew. And he's looked around. He went,
I need help.
He's like, yeah, what the bloody hell are you doing here? I said, oh, I tried to go to the Occupation Museum, but it's shut. And now I can't get a taxi back. And now ain't no buses for half hour.
The old man wouldn't let me inside her.
Yeah. Anyway, he just laughed, like as if he knew the whole story about me telling him.
Yeah,
Oh,
we get that a lot.
But oh, yeah, the Occupation Museum. Just laughed. He was a man of few words. He's sort of like a Clint Eastwood character, but I really liked him. And he went, "Go on, get in the van," because he had his van. Hello, thank you so much. I went out. I said to my wife, "Oh, we're allowed to get in Andrew's van. He's going to drive us back." He drove us back. We got out of the van. We're soaked. I went, "Come on, let's go in, get changed, and then at least we've got a nice dinner booked this evening, right? At least we've got that to look forward to."
Yeah.
We go in. Andrew drops the other passenger in, right? Parks the van up, comes in, and I thanks for that, Andrew. And he goes, "Oh, Mr. Delaney, 1 second." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Octopus." I said, "What?" He goes, "Octopus." I went, "What?" He went, "The restaurant did you book for this evening?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, Octopus, yeah."
It's burned down.
It's burned down. Did you say that? It burned down.
Yeah.
It burned down on Friday night.
Off.
That's exactly.
Oh, my God.
You just said what I was about to say.
I just said it.
It'll be in the fucking news.
Whoa.
Octopus Restaurant Guernsey. It's like the biggest restaurant on the island. The manager at the hotel had recommended it to me, and they'd got the hotel had booked him and he said, "You're going to love it. Your wife's going to love it." We've been out on this fucking day where we've been thrown out of the fucking hotel.
Jesus.
We've been caught in the rain. We get back. It's not just had a small fire. This hotel on Friday night has completely fucking burnt down. It's dead. It's gone. It is gone.
I'm so sorry for hijacking your punchline there, mate.
Well, it's like when we did the mind reading.
Yeah.
You see, and there's been a few instances of that recently as well. Even since the live mind reading, you've done some other things.
It happens. That's the chemistry we've got. Fucking hell. So where did you eat then?
We had to have room service because I said, "Well, we'll put somewhere else." But by the time we'd found out, every other fucker who was going to Octopus on Saturday night, it's a huge restaurant, they'd all found out before me. So every other restaurant in town, it's a small place, all got booked up immediately.
All full up. Oh, man. I bet your good wife was so impressed by you this weekend.
Oh, man. She was actually laughing.
Again, Sam,
she was laughing at the fucking degree to which I lost my rag over the fucking museum situation. I was like, we were walking along this little country road in torrential rain, me with my fucking cagoule up, and I'm walking a few paces ahead of her because I'm so angry. And she said all she could hear was we were going, why did he keep fucking calling it she? Who decides that a museum is feminine?
Men, that's who. Fucking hell.
But
right.
I will go back. It's a nice island. And actually, the people there, apart from him, are really nice. It's a great place. And I had a great week. So I don't want to speak ill of Guernsey.
This episode has been brought to you in association with the Guernsey Tourist Board and the former proprietors of the Octopus Restaurant. Predictions, just quickly.
I think I had a good weekend again.
You had another good one. You got 4. I got 3. Result Spot got 1. You are now 1 point ahead of Result Spot.
Oh, I've gone top. Yes,
you've gone top.
I knew I could do this. But
I am just 8 points behind Result Spot. I still think I can catch up with the fucker. It's all to play for.
It's very much all to play for. I don't want to get too excited, but my new approach to predicting has been going really well. Yeah,
so there we are. That's pretty much it. It's been a long one. But as with Fridays, you've been alone for a long time. And I feel as though you had a lot to say.
Yeah, lots to get off my chest, but don't worry. Normal service will resume. And we've got this huge, fucking spreadsheet of ideas. I just, you glance down at this ideas from years ago. You just glance down, you just go, oh, dog caught. I won't go through them all. There's so many dog-related ones. It's amazing. Podcast episode from the Screaming Darrell Hotel in Wiltshire. Expansion of the Pablo Canugo autobiography. It's 7-part Pablo Canugo autobiography. Stories about his idyllic childhood, raised by 2 lesbian aunts. with an artistic and wild upbringing. He had a knife at the age of 4, a pet monkey, and was always outside.
Okay, no, I mean, I've just found it, and massive shout out to Callum. Who's the fellow
Callum,
who's done
absolute legend.
Fucking brilliant. That's going to give me loads of entertainment later on.
Yeah.
Right. That's it then. And we'll be back throughout the week with all the other stuff. Thank you very much for listening. And that's that.
That's that.